Crazy, is it?
Hi everybody, welcome to the first game of the weekend here at Sports Care Arena up in Randolph, New Jersey. Tonight's game is against the Jets, New Jersey Jets. All right, start us off tonight. You have some players back. You got a few that are still out. Ben Peruto and Blake Krecker, along with Ben Fisher. Start the game off, Ricky and Kevin Lang on the defensive end. Kobe, Doc, and Lucas on first line. Looks like there's a little bit of difficulty trying to get the scoreboard set. At the end of the score clock, counting down. Looks like we're all set. Lucas on the face-off. Puck stop, back out the opposite side, slide over to the winger. Jets send it down into the deep corner, picked up by Peruto. Peruto tried to clear the zone, not able to do so, and that goes out of play. All set again for a face-off. Puck's down, makes its way outside the zone. No icing call. All the way back down into the Jets defensive zone. Kobe with a little token pressure. Jets send it back up all the way to the point to Lang. Lang sends it on net, opposite side. Jets pick it up, send it over to the opposite. Up the wing, past the zone. Slide it back out to the point. Off the side of the net. Picked up on the side by Ricky. Ricky looking to do something, loses it off the corner of his stick. That's slid back over. Lucas picks it up. Back over to Doc. Doc goes Kobe, opposite side. Kobe gets a shot off, picked up by Lucas. Nice 2 shots, and that'll clear back out, and that'll be an icing call. Braden Fisher back on the roster. Yep. Puck stop. Back out to the point. Bops try to hold it in. Does. Back over to Fisher. Fisher in the corner. Bops over to charge line. Sent long by the Jets. Nichols on a back check. Nichols shuffles it around opposite side over to Thies. Thies. Tag team back into the corner. Slid back. Picked up by Fisher. Fisher drops it back out to the point. Shot attempt. Couple shot attempts back out. Justin with some nice saves. Drop back down. Cusa out to help. Back over to Thies. Thies try to drop it out of the zone. Now it's picked up by Fisher. Fisher comes down. Opposite side over to Cusa. Cusa back into the corner on the forward check. Jets gather. Come across center ice. Picked back up by Thies. Thies try to clear the zone. It's unable to do so. Opposite side pass almost got through. Picked up at the point by the Jets. Jets get a shot off, and Justin gloves it down. Bart with Jake and Sean Tobin, along with Luca out on the ice, and Kevin Lang. Puck's down, back over Bart, send it to the back wall. Tobin over to pick it up, tried to send it up the boards. Luca's there, tried to send it outside the zone. Now it's picked up by Tobin. Tobin sends it forward. Jets gather and pick it up. Try to send it up to the neutral zone. Pick back up. Jets gather. Cycle it back out to the point. Shot attempt. Kick save by Justin back into the corner. Back over to Tobin. Pick back up at the point. Jets keep it in. Back over to Luca against the wall. Jets come away with it. Bart. Back over to Jake. Jake. Now it's back out to the neutral zone. Jets send it in. Line change for the Jets. Picked up by Lang. Lang back over to Tobin. Tobin loses it off his stick. Jets pick it up. Lang, good defensive stick to hold it in. Sent all the way up, and that'll be an icing call. Lucas line back out on the ice. Jets send it out to the point. Try to send it on net. Hit ricochets and goes off the side. Kobe back over. Jets gather. Now Lucas picks it up. Lucas sends it back up to Doc. Doc can't control it. Jets come around on the wing, and Justin gloves it down. Puck's down. Right in the slot. Jets try to swipe at it. Picked up by Kobe. Kobe. Back over to Doc. Side pitch back over to Kobe. Kobe. Center pass. Doesn't quite get there. 3-on-2 opportunity. Shot attempt. Good save by Justin. Still floating out. Justin puts a glove on it. That puck's down. Jets win it out to the point. Send it on net. Justin gloves it down. Ricky back over in the corner. Back over to Doc. Doc swipes at it. Gets knocked off. Escapes. Picked up over to Bops. Bops tried to get it. King send it deep. Shuffle back over to Ricky. Ricky sends it up the board over to Doc. Try to knock it back down. Lucas picks it up. Lucas tried to attempted shot. Jets pick it up. Come across the blue line. Picked up by Thies. Team Philly struggling to get the puck out of the zone. Nice pass, shot attempt goes wide. Now it's picked back up by Colin. Sent deep. All the way to the opposite side. Tobin. Jets try to force the zone. Try to come back out. Pick up by Nichols. Nichols gets it over to Braden Fisher. Braden comes across into the slot. Gets a shot off and goes high over top of the goaltender's head. Back into the neutral zone. Picked back up by Nichols. Nichols is there. Sends it in. Cusa on the forecheck. Swung around the boards. Picked up by the Jets. Try to swing it out into the neutral zone. Swing around shot attempt by the Jets. Goes opposite side. Cusa back over. Cusa sends it deep. Fisher on the forecheck. Checked up against the boards. Picked back up. Nichols over to charge. Jake with little token pressure. Line change for Team Philadelphia. Lang gets it. Jets send it in the zone, have to clear the zone. Lang gathers it, waits. Cycles it back over to Ricky. Ricky cycles it back over to Lang. It's an offsides. Puck swung around by Team Philly, back in the neutral zone. Jake tried to tap it forward, back over to Luca. Luca can't control, gets charged up, sent it back, picked up by Lang. Lang sends it over to the opposite side, over to Jake. Jake forward, up to Luca. That's an icing call. Puck's down, back over to Ricky. Ricky gathers it. Cycles it back over to Luca. Luca taps it forward, back over to Bart as he comes across center ice. Now across the blue line. Tries to center it. Picked up by the Jets. Jets sent around opposite side. Gets a shot off and goes into the protective netting. Lucas on the face-off. One back to the back wall, bops over, swings at it. Lucas over to pick it up. Sends it long. No icing. Kobe back over with a little token pressure, back out. Makes his way into a neutral zone. Thies drops it in. Team Philly clears the zone. Back out to Thies at the point. Redirect by Lucas goes wide of the net, picked up by Doc. Doc swipes it down into the zone. Lucas is back over. Jets send it up the board. Bops is there. Stick lift. Jets have to regather. 8:50 left in this game. Sent deep. Now over to the opposite side. Jets rotate the line. Thies sends it back up over to Doherty. Doherty wasn't ready for it. Went the opposite way. Jets pick it up. Try to clear the zone, can't. Back into the corner. Good defensive stick by Lucas. Picked back up by Kobe. Kobe goes long. Foot race back to the puck. Center pass back out to the point. Jets send it forward. Back up, picked up by Lang. Lang Back over to Tobin. Tobin sends it out to the point, picked up by the Jets. Sent back all the way to Lang. Lang over to Zimmerman. Picked back up. Sent back up. Kobe fires back over to Lang. Back into the corner. Lang sends it back over to Tobin. Over to Lucas. Lucas gets a shot attempt off. Goes off a defender's shin pads. Back over to Nichols. Nichols gathers it over to Lucas. Lucas cycles back over to Doc. Back out to the point. Almost gets there. Lang fires it in. Opposite side. Gets a shot attempt off. Goaltender swings over. It's able to stop it. Picked up by Tobin. Oh my gosh. Called that out of the zone. .27 first period, 0-0. Fisher, Nichols, Husa. Tobin and Lang back on the defensive end, cycle back over to Nichols. Nichols tries to push it forward. Nichols gets a shot attempt off. Blocker side save by the goaltender. Back over to Nichols. Try to get a shot attempt off, goes off a defender's skates. Second back, Lang charging the puck. Try to drop it in. Back over to Nichols. Good stick. Lang holds it in the zone. Fisher back over. Swiped at it. Pick back up. Over to Lang. Cycles it back over to Tobin. Tobin back out to Nichols. Jets send it back. Go long, all the way around the opposite side over to Tobin. Tobin dribbles it past over to Husa. Picked up by Fisher. Fisher by himself. Sends it deep. Nichols on the opposite side, forecheck. Husa back over to help out. Jets pick up. Bop sends it deep. Delayed offside. Clear the zone. Line change for Team Philadelphia as the Jets gather. Bart, Jake, and Luca sent back up the wall. Bopst all the way back. Sends it back opposite side. Pick back up over to Jake. Jake tried to get off his stick. Now picked up by Luca. Luca kicks it to himself. Jets. Send it back up. Bart, little charge onto the puck. Bart, good stick. Picked up by Luca. Luca gets a shot attempt off. All right, Lucas, Kobe, Doc, with Bobst and Ricky out on the ice. Puck's down, back to the back wall. Jets gather it. Send it up, the opposite wall. Try to clear the zone. Picked up, oh, just outside the reach of Doc. And Doc gets it again. Back over. Send it back over to Lucas. Lucas pushes up, tries to get around his man. Cycle back to the opposite side. Kobe back over. Picked up by Bops. Bops gets a shot attempt off. Goalie knocks it down with his blocker. Lucas back over to challenge. Picks up the puck. Cycles it back out to Bops at the point. Bops sends it in. And it's picked up by Lucas. Lucas sends it deep. Delayed offside. Jets pick it up. 4:44 left. Send it up. Tried it. Lucas keeps it in the zone. Delayed offsides. Team Philly clears the zone. Sent back opposite side. Tobin's there. Kobe back over to help. Swings at it. Drops it down. Kobe breaks away from it. Picked up at the point. Shot attempt. Goes off a defender's skates. Picked up against the wall. Pass attempt into the slot. A shot back opposite side, picked up by Doc. He cycles it back, picks it up, sends it back the opposite side. Thies loses an edge. Good stick by Tobin. Knocks it down against the back wall. Back over to Lucas. Cycles it back up to Doc. Doc looking. Can't get it on his stick. Tries to center it the opposite side. Gets knocked down by the Jets. Picked back up at the blue line. Back over to Tobin. Tobin cycles it back over to Doc. Doc's got Lucas. Couldn't get on his strong side. Picked back up over to Lucas. Gets a shot attempt off and goes wide. Back all the way to Ricky at the back end. Turnover. Picked up at the side. Shot attempt goes wide. Jets gather. Back over to Ricky. Ricky cycled it back over to Lang. Lang out to the neutral zone. It's offsides. It's offsides. Light whistle, so nobody heard him. .00253 mark of the first period. Fisher out on the ice. Team Philly wins it back over to Lang. Ricky gathers it, cycles it back over to Lang. Lang tries to get it by a defender, is unable to do so. 2-on-1. Nice. Justin with two great saves. Braden on the face-off. Back over to Bops. Bops tried to clear the zone, unable to do so. Jets retain it. Break back. Shot attempt goes wide. Makes its way all the way back out to the point. Cycles it back over. Bops back over, putting pressure onto the puck. Braden back over to help. Bops, Braden. Knocked down by Nichols. Nichols picks it up. Not out of the zone yet. And now it's called out of the zone. Offsides. Same lineup out on the ice. Fisher, Nichols, Cusa. Puck's down, one back over to Bops. Bops cycles it back over to Ricky. Ricky into the zone. Gets a shot attempt off right in the front. Good stick. Goaltender knocks it down. Jets try to clear the zone and do. It's back into the neutral zone. Back over to Bops. I think it was a hand pass. 1:53 left. Puck's down. Back over. Picked up by Bops. Back over to Ricky. Ricky into the zone, just outside the reach of Nichols. Cycle it back over to Fisher. Jets gather. Come across the blue line. Take a shot attempt. Have the stick lifted, unable to get the shot attempt back up, back over to Nichols. Nichols. Puck's floating. And Justin puts a glove on it and it has his glove knocked away. Puck's down, sent back over to center, opposite side. Almost hits the referee in the face. Ricky sends it up the wall, picked back up by the Jets. Cycle it back down, now it's over to Ricky. Ricky looking. Cycles it back over to Luca. Luca. Back out to Anthony. Back up to Luca. Back over to Bart. Bart back out to the point to Ricky. Ricky. 1 minute left. High stick. So a high stick call will come all the way back down into the Team Philly defensive zone. Bart, Luca, Jake, Bobst, and Ricky out on the ice. Justin fixing his helmet. .48 seconds left first period. Puck's down. Back over, sent back up, outside of Luca's reach. That's back over to Ricky. Ricky cycles it back up against the wall. Jake back over to help out. Jake tries to cycle back over to Bart. Bart sent back into the neutral zone. Jets get it. Sent it opposite side, picked up by Bops. Bops back over. Vicious check on Luca. Back over to Ricky. Ricky over to Luca, just outside of his reach. 12 seconds left. Line change for Team Philadelphia. Jets gather, opposite side. Lucas keeps it in. 4, 3, 2, 1. And that will end the first period. So at the end of 1-0-0. All right, start at the second period. Kobe, Doc, Lucas, Ricky, and Kevin out on the ice. All set, one back, picked up by Lang. Lang looks up. Sends it back up over to Kobe. Kobe sends it deep. Lucas on the opposite side forecheck. Sent back up the board, picked up. Kobe knocks it back down. Lucas lifts a stick, picked back up. Sends it over to the opposite side, all the way back. Jets. Picked back up into the neutral zone. Not good. No No icing call. Back over to Ricky. Ricky cycles it back over to Kobe. Kobe cycles back over to Lucas. Lucas dumps it in. Nice little drop pass to Doc, who is streaming up. The goalie had to put clock! Puck's down, back over. Nichols back over to help out, stuck between his skates, now picked up by Fisher. Fisher gathers it. Back into the corner, Nichols. Got a defender on him. Back out to the point to Bobst. Bobst. Try to get a shot in. Picked up by the Jets, sent around to the opposite side. Bobst to the corner. Pass attempt. Justin fell down, tried to, but he thought it was a save. Picked back up, Justin with a nice blocker side save to the opposite side. Picked up at the point again, knocked back down by Nichols. Bobst over, try to get to the puck. Picked up by Bobst. Bobst cycles it back over to Nichols. Nichols. And that goes into the Jets bench. Luca, Jake, Bart with Lang and Tobin. Puck's down, back to the point. Shot attempt. Picked up by Bart, center ice. Comes across, sends it deep. Jets pick it up behind the net. Send it back opposite side. Lang is there, drops it back in. Picked up by Jake. Jake loses it off his stick. Still fighting for it. Tries to kick it forward. Between his legs. Now sent back out to Lang. Shot attempt, redirect goes over top of everybody's head. Now picked up by Jake. Jake cycles it back over to Luca. Jets try to clear the zone. Send it on net. Pick back up. Lang's back over to force the puck. Pick back up over to Luca. Luca sent it back over. Gets a shot attempt off. Goaltender. Pad save, back over to the corner, back over to Lang. Lang looking, nice pass right out into the slot to Doc. Got hit by a defender. Delayed offside, cleared the zone. Jets gather it. Send it back over, opposite side. Swing around. Jets come across the blue line. Shot attempt. Whiffed on. Back over to Kobe, just outside of his reach. Gathering, looks. Gets a shot attempt off. Goaltender knocks it down. Clock! Sorry for yelling, folks, at home. Puck's down, back over to Lucas. Lucas, back over center, back over to Doc. Cycles it back over. Lucas gets shot attempt off. Oh my gosh. Came off the goaltender. Doc was able to get there. Doc takes off, back over to Lucas. Lucas cycles it back over to Doc. Doc back into the corner. Looks back over to Lucas. Has a stick lifted. Kings, Jets try to clear the zone. Lucas face off, wins it back out to the point, over to Bops. Bops gets a shot attempt off, gets knocked down in front of the net. Jets try to clear the zone. Picked back up by Lucas. Lucas shoots it off the backside of Doc. That's back into the zone. Jets, center opposite side. And Justin with a wicked glove save.
Bring them out, bring them out, bring them out, bring them out. It's hard to yell when the barrel's in your mouth. Bring them out, bring them out.
Nichols, Cusa, Fisher, Ricky, and Bops out on the ice. Puck's down. Jets gather, send a shot on to Justin. Justin kick saves it. Back over to Nichols. Nichols back over to the opposite side to Ricky. Ricky into the neutral zone. Back over to Cusa. Drives it forward. Back over to Fisher. Fisher tries to cut the corner. Gets a shot attempt off. Fisher turns and fires. Missed the pass. Back over to Ricky. Cycles opposite side. Back over to Bops. Ooh, picked up. Turnover, defensive zone. Going to be a roughing call coming up on the Jets. Number 6 on a roughing call. So Team Philly will be on a power play at the 12:47 mark. Lucas, Doc, Nichols, Kobe, Bart out on the ice. Set all the way back. Lucas all the way. Lucas back over to Kobe. Kobe gets it, comes across, got Lucas in the slot. Gets a shot attempt, had Bart on the opposite side. Oof. Puck's down, back out, kept in by Doherty. Doherty back over to Lucas. Pick back up over to Nichols. Nichols back over to Lucas. Doc shuffles back over to Lucas. Bart on the face-off. Puck's down, one back over to Nichols. Nichols, opposite side over to Doc. Gets a shot attempt off. Sent all the way back down. Justin comes out of net, holds it up. Nichols picks it up. Lucas gathers, cycles back opposite side over to Doc. Doc across the blue line, try to set something up. Bart back behind, cycles back over to Lucas. Lucas back out to the point to Nichols. It's a dangerous pass by Lucas. Opposite side, picked up by Kobe. Oh my gosh, opposite side, picked up. Cycles it back over. Nichols swings at it, drops it down. All the way to the back wall. Lucas in the chase. Cycles it back over to Doc. Doc just outside of his reach. Cycled back into the neutral zone. Lucas picks it up. Back over to Doc. Sends it deep. 24 seconds left on the power play for Team Philadelphia. Jets try to clear it. They can't. Back over to Cusa. Back out to Bops. Cycles it back over to Jake. Jake Back over to Cusa. Cusa looking. Cycles it back into the corner over to Fisher. Fisher looking. Jets gather. A penalty coming up on Team Philadelphia. So at the 10:24 mark, Team Philadelphia will be down a man for 2 minutes. Luca, Bart, Ricky, and Bops to try to kill off this penalty. Back over to Ricky. Ricky tries to clear the zone and does. Luca in a foot race back over. Try to race to it. Jets gather, cycle back over to the opposite side. Knocked down by Bart. Jets. Sent all the way back. 1:32 left in the penalty kill. Cycle back over. Jets break into the zone, cycle back, set something up, picked up at the point. Back over to the opposite side. Justin with a nice save. Cycle back out of the zone. Jets try to send it over to the opposite side. Now across the blue line. Back out, over to the point. Nice save by Justin. .45 seconds left on Team Philadelphia penalty kill. Nichols, Thies, Tobin, Heston out onto the ice. Nichols on the face-off. Pucks down, back over to Thies. Thies cycles it back out, try to clear the zone. Jets gather at the blue line, send over to the opposite side. Pick it back up. Stick side save by Justin. Tobin gathers it. Try to make it outside the zone, unable to do so. Now it's back out. Sent all the way back by Thies. 25 seconds left. Heston, token pressure. Jets deep into the corner. Cycle back, Tobin over to help out. Kicked it forward, cycles it back. Try to get it back, out. Team Philly 2-1, even strength. Jets gather it, back onto the wing. Shot attempt. And the net comes off the moorings. So 8:13 left in the second period, 0-0. A lot of action. Lucas, Kobe, Doc, pucks down, back over to the corner. Lang gathers it, looks up, tried to clear it past the defender. Now it's picked up by Lang. Lang sent it long, opposite over to Doc. Doc tried to knock it down off his stick. Gets a shot attempt off and goes just wide. Cycles it back over to Doc. Center pass right to Kobe. Oh my gosh, point blank shot. Just lifted it a little too high, back over to Lucas. Scores! Lucas hits a top shelf over the top of the goaltender's shoulder for the first score of the game at the 7:49 mark. So Team Philadelphia puts one on the board. Same lineup out on the ice. Puck's down, picked up by Doc. Doc cycles it back over to Ricky. Ricky, try to clear back over to Lucas. Lucas, try to backhand. Now it gets in the zone. Jets knock it down. Lucas picks it up. Takes a shot attempt, goes off his stick, goes high. Back over to Kobe. Kobe cycles it back over. Doc, back into the corner. Turnover, picked up by the Jets. Jets cross blue line. Kobe picks it back up. Nice blocker side save by Justin. Got to pick the guy up at the point. Wow, Justin. 2 great saves. Fisher out on the faceoff. Thies, Cusa, Nichols with him. Sent back to the back board. Thies back over, gets tag teamed into the corner. Picked up by Bops. Bops loses it, cycles it back over, tries to clear the zone. Now it's back over to Nichols. Nichols sends it over to the opposite to Cusa. Cusa picks it up, sends it forward over to Fisher. Fisher along the wing, try to move around his man. Does. A lot of after play shuffling. Offsetting penalties, Nichols and number 17. That'll be a 5-on-5, I believe. At the 6:47 mark. Doc comes on the ice, so Thies, Cusa, Fisher, Doc, and Bops. Puck's down, picked up by Cusa, gets a shot attempt off. Goaltender couldn't glove it, but knocked it to the back wall. Picked up by Fisher. Fisher sends it up into the neutral zone. Jets pick it up, lose it off the stick, opposite side, send it across ice. Fisher gathers it, back over to Doc. Doc, 3-on-2 opportunity if they get it working. Back over, opposite side over to Fisher. Fisher cycles back into the Cusa, gets a shot attempt off right into the slot. Fisher on the faceoff. Puck's down. Jets try to send it back. Go deep. Back over. Bops. Back on the back check. Picked up by Thies. Opposite side. Picked up by Justin. Justin with a nice stick steer into the corner. Cycle back over. Sent back out into the neutral zone, just outside the reach of Doc. Delayed offsides. Jets try to pick it up, get Bops with a good job, taking the defender off the puck, picked up by Thies. Thies all the way back up to Doc. Doc. Opposite side, try to hit Fisher coming down the opposite. Fisher rubs it out. Opposite side, back up into the slot. Fisher trying to push forward. Now it's picked back up. Cusa. Back out to Tobin. Tobin gets a shot attempt off. Goaltender steers it back to the corner. Back over to Doherty. Doc. Knocked back down. Cycle back all the way out. Jets gather it. Center pass. Comes out to the neutral zone. Goes off of Justin's face mask. Back out to Doc. Doc tried to tip it forward, unable to do so. Picked up in the slot by the Jets. send it long. Now it comes back up. Stop before it enters the zone to clear the zone. Jets regroup. And that'll be an icing call. .438 second period. Team Philly up 1-0. Bart, Jake, Tobin, Luca, Lang out on the ice. Puck's down, picked up Tobin, tried to send it deep, was unable to do so. Picked back up in the corner. Sent back over. Tobin tries to clear the zone. Jake over to help him out. Jets get there. Jake pressure into the wall. Jets gather, sends out to the point. Justin with a blocker side save back into the corner. Tobin, good stick. Sent back out over to the sidewall. Luca gets it back into the neutral zone. Jake charging forward. Jets center it. Pick back up over to Luca. Luca sends it deep. Doc out onto the ice. Jets try to send it forward. Lucas is there, try to knock it down. Hits Lucas right in the beak. Picked up by Doc. Doc, oh my gosh. Called an offsides. Lucas, Doc, Kobe. Puck's down, back over. Picked up by Lucas. Comes back to him. Try to get a shot off. Goes off a defender's skates. Lucas, lift stick, sent deep. Jets gather. Kobe in the hunt for the puck, looking for it. Jets come across the blue line. Lucas able to get it into the neutral zone. Jets have to send it in, clear the zone, picked up by Lang. Lang. Back over to Kobe. Kobe's got Lucas. Lucas got three guys in front of him. Kobe back in center slot. Takes a shot attempt over, but got confused with Doc. Lucas sends it back over to Doc. Good stick by Doc. Sent deep over to the opposite side. Jets cycle it around, over. Lucas try to pick it up, gets it on the strong side, back out to Kobe. Kobe opposite side over to Doc. Doc pulls it back out, back over to Lucas. Cycles it back over. Try to feed Kobe on the opposite side. Lucas swipes at it. And that's an offsides. .212 second period. 1-0 Team Philadelphia. Fisher, Cusa, Nichols, Bops and right. Puck's down, back over. Bops gently shuffles it into the zone. Goaltender steers it back over. Back along the boards, Jets. Nichols is back over to try to help keep the zone. Bops sends it deep. Fisher back with token pressure. Cusa against the wall, looking. Ooh, nice backhand. Actually, I think it was by his own man, right into the goaltender's chest. And that's going to be a high stick. So that'll come all the way down into the Team Philadelphia defensive zone for a face-off. Same lineup, Fisher, Cusa. Puck's down, back out to the point. Jets try try to make a move around. Fisher is back over, loses the puck in the defensive zone, picked up by the Jets. Back over to Fisher, opposite over to Cusa. Got Fisher on the opposite side. Oh my gosh, a beautiful feed just a little bit behind him. Nichols shuffles it back over. Fisher's back opposite side, picks it up. Center pass goes right to a defender for the Jets. Jets send it out to the neutral zone. Ricky all the way back to gather it. 1 minute left. Ricky gets a little challenge, back over, opposite side over to Nichols. Gets a shot attempt off. Goaltender is off his face mask and makes it all the way back down to the ice, and that'll be an icing call at the 46-second mark. Bart, Jake, Luca, Tobin, and Thies out on the ice. Puck's down, 45 seconds left. Back over to Luca. Puck's moved around him. Team Philly on a back check. Back over to Thies. Thies, good pressure. Center pass. Jets send it all the way out to the point. Pick back up onto the wing. Back over to Luca. Luca gets it out of the zone. 24 seconds. Jake, token pressure. 16 seconds. All the way back. Back over to Tobin. Tobin. And that'll do it for the end of this period. So 1-0. Team Philadelphia. Heading into the third. Start of the third period. Kobe, Lucas, Doc, with Bobs and Ricky back on the defensive end. All set for puck drop. Puck's down, back over. Back out to the wing. Justin with a nice glove save. Makes it all the way out to the opposite side, to the zone. Jets send it into the neutral zone, picked up by Lucas. Lucas turns and fires. Cycle back over to the opposite side, picked up by Bops. Bops keeps it in the neutral zone, picked up by Lucas, one-on-one with the guy. Back over to Doherty. Takes a shot attempt. Goes off of the goaltender's shoulder. Lucas tried to knock it back down. Flops back over. Straddles the line, no offsides. Picked up into the slot. Nice blocker side save by Justin. Dangerous. Another save by Justin. Good pickup in the slot. Lucas, cross. Back over into the corner, loses it. Jets pick it up, come out. Send it deep, and Justin picks it up. Nichols, Cusa, Fisher, Tobin, and Thies out on the ice at the 15:42 mark. Puck's down, shot attempt, back over to Justin. Still floating out there. Still there. How about a trip? Now it's picked back up over to Cusa. 3-on-1 opportunity. Coming back up, it's got Fisher in the slot. Fisher loses it, back over to Nichols. Nichols turns and gets a shot attempt off. Tobin keeps it at the blue line. Cycled back over. Nichols takes a shot attempt. Yes, yeah, he's got to play the puck. So a penalty coming up on the Jets at the 15:03 mark. Actually, they're going to call 2 penalties. One, I believe, for unsportsmanlike conduct. So Jets are going to be down 2 men at the 15:03 mark. So Team Philly will have a 2-man advantage at the 15:03 mark. So Bart, Lucas, Nichols, Doc, and Kobe. Puck's down, back over. Nichols tried to charge forward, picked up by Lucas. Lucas holds up, cycles it back over to Nichols. Nichols at the point. Scores! Lucas with a wrister. Gets the low side, glove side for the score. But Team Philly up 2-0. That'll clear 1 penalty, but Jets will be down the man for 1 minute 47 seconds. Bart, there. Jets take a swipe at it. Come across blue line. Justin with a nice blocker side save. Swung back over to the corner. But Doherty swings it around the opposite side. Picked up by Kobe. Kobe waits patiently for it. Back over to Nichols. Nichols shuffles it back over to Kobe. Kobe playing around with the puck a little bit too much. Doc cycles back to the opposite side. All the way back up to Bart. Bart hits Lucas in the slot. Gets a shot attempt off. There's another penalty coming up on the Jets. So roughing call. So Jets will have 2 in the box again at the 14:08 mark. Timeout, Jets. So timeout over. All right, all set. Puck stop, Lucas gathers it, back out to Doc at the point. Back out to Lucas, opposite side, scores! Quick one-timer by Doc on the wing. So Team Philly goes up 3-0 at the 13:59 mark. So still 1:51 left on the second penalty. Puck's down, back over. Lucas gets it. Cycles it back over to the opposite side, over Nichols. Nichols loses it off the stick. Cycles it back over to Lucas. Lucas comes across the blue line. Lucas comes away with it. Now it's picked back up. Back out to the point to Nichols. Gets a shot attempt. Redirect almost goes in the net. Back over to Lucas. Lucas cycles back opposite side. Jets try to clear the zone. Picked up at the point by Nichols. Try to get over to Lucas. Gets a shot attempt. Oh, swung. And a miss by Kobe because it took an odd bounce. Sent deep. 1:11 left on Team Philadelphia's power play. Picked up by Lucas. Lucas comes up, he's got Kobe with him. Back over, opposite side over to Kobe. Nice shot attempt. Fisher, Heston, Ricky, Bobs, Cusa. Back out to the point to Ricky. Ricky, try to cycle it back over to Jake, who lost an edge. Back into the corner. Puck is still down. Bobs back over to help. Back all the way to the point to Ricky. Ricky forces the puck forward. Sent deep. Back over to Cusa. Cusa. Picked back up. Another penalty coming up on the Jets. Bops, opposite side over to Cusa. Cusa back into the slot. Picked back up. Cycled it back out. Lucas picks it up, holds it up. Team Philly pulls Justin, puts another man out onto the ice. Picked back up, over to Cusa. Jets are really losing their cool. So 4 minutes. On the guy that just went in the box because he hit a player after the penalty. So Team Philly again will have it 5-on-3 with 6 seconds left on the last penalty and 4 minutes. Bart, Doc, Kobe, Lucas, Nichols. Back out, Doc cycles it back over to Lucas at the point, looking. The referee calls another penalty. Moms are getting a little intense over here. Pucks one back all the way. So they can't play 5-on-2, so the other player now, they add an extra 2 minutes. Opposite side, back over to Kobe. Kobe shuffles it deep, back into the corner. Jets gather it. Kobe pressure onto the puck, picked up by Bart, sent back over to Kobe. Kobe cycles it back out. Colin, back out to Lucas at the point. Scores! Nichols with a wrister. Opposite side pass. Team Philly hangs another one on them, 4-0 at the 11:42 mark. So still a 2-man advantage. Puck's down, Bart send it back, picked up by Nichols. Nichols drops it back over to Doc. Doc back up to Nichols. Nichols try to come across the blue line, does, send it deep all the way around the opposite side. Kobe back into the corner. Jets pick it up. Blocker side save by Justin. Fisher. Gets called out of the zone. Jake on the faceoff. Jets cycle it back behind the net. Picked up by Bops, sent over to opposite side to Ricky. Cusa back over to pick it up. Nope. Ricky gets it. Send it back up to Fisher. Up to Cusa. Cusa across the blue line. Looks to set something up. Got Ricky coming across the blue line. Back over. Fisher. Over to Ricky. Now to Fisher. Cycles back. Gets a shot attempt off. Nice save by the goaltender. Puck's dropped, back out, sent to the point. Back over to Cusa at the point. Back over to Ricky. Ricky takes a shot attempt. Jets clear the zone, send it all the way back. 48 seconds. 18 seconds left on the last penalty. Ricky comes up. Ricky comes across the blue line looking. Try to get a shot attempt off. Centering pass. Picked back up by the Jets. Add an extra man. Jets are down. So penalty coming up on Ricky. So at the 9:59 mark, it'll be 4-on-4 for 17 seconds. Nichols, Bart, Bobst, and Thies. 13 seconds. Back over to Nichols. Cycles it back over to Thies. Thies has it knocked away. Picked up by Nichols. Nichols. .139. Cycled back out into the zone. Picked up by the Jets. That's an offsides. Puck's down, Jets win it back, send it over to the opposite side, picked up at center ice. Send it deep, swung around all the way back over, Bobst against the wall, swipes at it, try to clear the zone, picked up at the point by the Jets. Sent back out, opposite side. Kick save by Justin. Still there. Sent back out. That doesn't clear the zone. Another steer by Justin. Nice save. Good judge on the puck. Nichols back over. Team Philly 49 seconds left on their penalty kill. And Justin with a nice save. More concerned about the music than they are the clock. Luca, Jake, Kevin, puck's down. Tobin's back out on the ice. Jets, nice stick. Back over, cleared the zone. Jets have to wait to the zone to clear. Kick forward, Luca in a foot battle, back over, Luca. Good job, Luca. 17 seconds left on the penalty kill. From the knees, Tobin gets it out of the zone. Jets send it over to the opposite side, kick back out. Sent back out in the neutral zone. Jake loses it. Cycles it back over to Lang. Lang sends it long, back behind the net. Lucas, Kobe, and Doc out on the ice. Kobe gathers it. Kobe tried to do a pass into the slot, goes off of the stick. Now picked back out in the neutral zone. Tobin dumps it in. Lucas gathers it, takes a shot attempt. Puck's down, Kobe back into the corner, picks it up, try to backhand, goes right to a defender. Jets send it out into the neutral zone by Tobin. Tobin sends it up. Lucas turns and fires, drops it into their offensive zone. Jets centering pass back out to Kobe. Sends it long. Doc back over. 7 minutes left in this game. Kobe gathers it, looks back into the slot over to Doc, couldn't control it. Jets send it out to the opposite side. Kick save by Justin, sent to the corner by defender. Justin with a nice save. Fisher, Cusa, Fox, Nichols, and Ricky. Puck's down. Sent back out of play. Back over. Jets send it out to the point. Back into the wing. Cycle back behind the net. Jets send it all the way out to the point. Cycle back over the opposite side. Redirect. Justin tried to put a glove on it. Nichols gathers it. Back over to Cusa. Cusa dumps it in. Fisher on back check, back out, into the slot. Nice feed to Cusa. Cusa gets a rifle shot off, goaltender 6 saves. Justin with a nice save, punches it down and gathers it. .545 left in the game. Bart, Heston, Luca, Bobs, and Ricky. Ricky over to get it at the face-off one. Back over to Jake. Jake, pressure onto the puck. Shot attempt goes high. Picked up by Bart. Bart sends it over to the opposite corner. Nobody's there. Jake tries to turn and fire. Doesn't go far. Shot attempt. Good job by Bops to get a stick on it. Picked up by Ricky. Makes its way out to the neutral zone. Luca, token pressure onto the stick. Back over to Bart. Sends it back. Bops tosses it long. Picked up in the zone by Jets. Jets send it out to the neutral zone. Turned and fired by Bobst. 4:52. Jets tip it forward. Justin knocks it down, picked up by Thies. Thies sends it back over to the opposite side, over to Bobst. Bobst Back over to Kobe. Kobe, opposite side, try to get to Doc. Jumps over his stick. Jets turn and fire. Back over to Kobe. Kobe sends it back into the neutral zone. Justin knocks it down, swipes it, sends it back over to Tobin. Tobin picks it up. Back out into the neutral zone. Jets have to wait for the zone to clear, dump it in. Back over to Tobin. Back over to Lucas. Lucas hops his side over to Colin. Colin dumps it in. Kobe on a forecheck. Back over. Colin turns and fires. Back over to Kobe. Kobe sent it out to the point to Tobin. Ooh, goes off of a defender and just rides right up into the goaltender's glove. Puck's won back by the Jets into the corner. Nichols back over to put pressure onto the puck. Picked up by Cusa, sent back over to Nichols, out to the point to Tobin. Tobin gets a shot attempt off, goes deflected before it made it to the goaltender. Picked back up by the Jets behind the net. Centering pass back into the neutral zone. Thies turns and fires back into the zone. Shot attempt goes off of defender's stick into the back webbing at the 3:17 mark. Puck's down. Picked back up by Aiden, sent back out. Goaltender shuffles it over to the corner. Nichols tried to knock it down. Shuffled back onto the wing. It's on the side of the net. Jets gather, send back out to the point. Cusa, a little pressure onto the puck. Ricky back over. Send it back out. And that should be an icing call. Ricky back over, tries to fire it outside the zone. Fisher drops it in. Justin all the way back to retrieve, drops it back as the Jets had to clear the zone. Picked up by Lang. Lang cycles it back over to Nichols. Nichols back over to Lang. Back over to Nichols. Sends it into the neutral zone. The Jets gather it. Center pass. Cusa almost picks it off. Jets dump it in. Now it's back over. Cycled back over to Cusa. Cusa sends it back, hits a referee. Lang pauses. Jets intercept at the blue line. Cusa's there. And shot attempt. Justin gloves it down. 1:51 left in the game. 4-0 Team Philadelphia. Jets get it, fire, goes high, back into the corner. Shot attempt goes across the crease to the opposite wall, picked up behind the net by Thies. Thies, nobody on him. Knocked back down by the Jets. Picked up by Jake. Jake dumps it in. Bart knocks it back. Cycles it. Send it back over to Bops. Bops into the neutral zone. Bart sends it across ice. Knocked down by the Jets. Pick back up. Jets gather it. Back along. Bops looking to put pressure on now. It comes out of the zone. Good stick by Bops. Less than a minute left. 55 seconds. Shot attempt goes wide. Into the back corner. Thief's back over to put pressure on. Centering pass goes wide and the net comes off of the moorings. Puck's down into the corner. Bops back over to fight for it. Picked back up by Bart. .30 seconds left. Jake over against the side wall to pick it up. Justin with a nice save again. Jake back out. Jets send it out to the point. Loses it into the neutral zone. 16 seconds. Sent back over to the opposite side. Bops tries to send a corner. 3, 2, and a nice last second save for Justin Adams, who has a shutout. Beautiful show in net by Justin Adams. So Team Philadelphia comes away with a 4-0 win. All right, so that'll do it for tonight. So game, I believe, 10:40 tomorrow morning. Tomorrow's game, I think, is against Littleton. So for those who want to tune in, please tune in. Thanks, we'll see you tomorrow.